Hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the iBug Android Insight Call. Today's date is November 15th, 2023, and my name is Hirsch. I have my co host with me today. She's feeling a little better, but want to introduce her and say hi. Miss Ava?
Hi, everybody. It's Ava. I am back.
Nice, nice. Well, I'm glad that you're here back in the meeting. And so let's get into the show of things, right? What does iBug have upcoming? We have a movie coming up called Pride and Prejudice. That is on every Friday. We have movie night. So if you go to the same link that you found yourself here, you'll find yourself to go through and see what movie's up for that week. Then on, I believe, Saturday, we have a Apple workshop coming up. But again, if I'm not sure on that information, what I would do is suggest you go to www.ibugtoday.com, and you'll find a link there that says upcoming, where you can find out all the different items that are approaching. We have Monday night buzz calls and other events that come along. So keep an eye on there. And so, what is the show about? Well, we want to make sure that we cover Android for those that might have Android phones, right? And it could be a Samsung phone, it could be a Pixel phone, or it could be a Sony phone. I mean, those are just some that out of a plethora of brands that are out there. And of course, we cover the smart speakers. We want to cover tablets and such. You have Samsung tablets, Pixel tablets, and whatnot. So the show is basically open to you guys, and we basically ask that you keep yourself on mute so that way we have a clean audio. And we will basically get into introductions, not hosting. I'm the host, right? Oh, I'm Hirsch. I'm from Daytona. So anybody else wants to let us know where you're from? Perhaps what kind of device do you have? And maybe what intrigued you about this call? And again, feel free to unmute by the designated muting features on Zoom. If you're using a PC, it's Alt A, and feel free to introduce yourself.
This is really confusing. I use Apple.
Nice. Welcome, welcome, Julie. Thank you for stopping by here with us.
Then
And my name is Bill. I'm from South Daytona, and I'm currently using Pixel 7.
Interesting, interesting. I might have to talk about your audio there, sir. I'm hearing some cool toys that you have back there. I don't know. Maybe I'm hearing things. But glad to have you,
Not
Bill.
mine.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to have you regardless, and hope we could all answer some of the questions that you have tonight. Anybody else would like to introduce themselves?
This is Shay from Seattle. I'm so glad to be here. This is my favorite call, but I'm a listener tonight and not a talker.
Not a problem, Miss Shay. I hope you're doing well and everybody else around you is doing well too. And thank you so much for stopping by tonight.
Oh, and you guys complaining about 2 days of rain? I'm in Seattle. You don't know rain. Good luck with that.
Yes. Sleepy in Seattle or rainy in Seattle.
Hello, my name
Go ahead.
my name is Linda Yaps, and Tammy Robbins invited me to come tonight to hear about Android.
Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome to the your first time name in my mind. I think you might have been before, but welcome regardless. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Mandy in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hello, Mandy. Welcome back.
Thank you.
This is Richard in New York, and I
It's
am
New
wanting
York.
the rain.
Yeah, we'll send it up there fairly soon. We're on the same coast, so maybe we'll send it up to you there, Mr. Richard. Hold on tight, all right? Maybe some snow with it. Well, nice to have you on the call tonight. Thank you. Anybody else would like to introduce themselves? Just let us know where you're from, maybe what intrigued you about this call, or what made you come to this call.
Okay, well, I'm Ava. I'm the co-host for this call. So I'm in Houston, Texas. And Richard, I'm scared if I say send me snow, I think Houston would kick me out. So But
First, we got to get the snow because last year we got very, very little.
ooh, when we got all that heat. Okay. I think Houston really would kick me out if we got snow since I said that. But I am I am a Samsung from my phone. I have a Note. And then I also have several Lady A devices. I have two Fire TVs. I have a Fire tablet. I have an Android. I have two Android tablets. I have a Google Home. I have devices that I can connect to either my Lady A or my Google Home. And I'm working on installing another device. So
Falling over. A lady A number one. I forgot how many A's. AVA. That are two letters. Ava. Anyway, but thank you for joining us, Miss Ava. And wow, that's a lot of devices. You got some new toys over there. We gotta talk.
oh yeah, I got one I gotta learn how to hook up. So
Well, we have smart people on this call, so yeah, put it out there. We'll just might figure it out.
all right. I heard a few more pop in, so if there's
This
anybody
is
else, go ahead.
Kevin from Austin, and I have a new Pixel tablet.
All right.
I have the whole
Ooh,
portfolio.
okay.
Yeah, I see a theme. Is it tablet night?
Hmm? You said, is it nice?
Is it a tablet night tonight? I mean, I'm seeing a theme.
Oh,
Ava's over there with her tab. She has two tablets. You got a tablet. I mean, I don't know. But welcome to the show, Kevin. Thank you for joining us tonight.
All right, it's Foster. I'm back in the house.
All right,
Welcome back,
Foster.
sir.
Let's see. So I got a Pixel 7 Pro, OnePlus 8 5G phone, an Asus Flip Chromebook, which that runs Chrome, but you can control your Android phone from it. Got a couple Lady A devices, couple of Google speakers, and my security system works with either Lady A or with the Google Home app. And I almost bought a the OnePlus tablet, but I said, I'll wait.
All right, next month, expect the OnePlus. No, I'm kidding. But welcome to the show, sir. Thank you for joining us tonight.
This is Renee in Cleveland.
Hey, Miss Renee, welcome back.
Thank you. I have a number of devices, multitude of speakers, displays, Samsung TV, Samsung tablet, Pixel 7 Pro, one Lady A, and bunch of cameras and stuff.
So we have the right people on the show. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, everybody has all these Android devices. So we'll keep on doing these introductions. Keep us. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and if not, I'll let Ava take over and we can jump into questions.
Okay, well, let's open it up. Anybody got any questions, comments?
Yeah, this is Renee.
Yes, Renee.
I have a weird thing happening as usual. Has anyone ever had? I have a Pixel 7 Pro. Has anyone ever had the screen reader voice change in the middle of talking or reading something?
Hey, this is Hershey. Was that a Samsung you said?
No, it's a Pixel.
Pixel. Okay, I'll yield back. I think it was Foster that I heard, maybe?
No. Mm-mm.
Anybody have any insight on that? So, me again, Hershey. On the Samsung side, whenever I'm using Gboard, it's constantly changing over. I mean, I'm using vocalizer voices, but it's constantly changing over different voices and different modes. So um, I've heard it in that fashion, but interesting.
I haven't pinpointed when it happens exactly, but I think it has happened using reading mode before, and it seems to happen mostly on like web pages or something. It'll start off in the voice that I selected, then all of a sudden it changes to one that sounds like it has a British accent or something. And
Interesting. So, not necessarily a language change, but it
no.
almost sounds like TTS change.
This is Kevin.
Yes, Kevin.
One thing you might try, I don't know if this is the problem, but you might go change your language detection from aggressive to slow or minimal or whatever in the in the talkback settings. That's where the language detection is.
Language detection?
Yes. It might be on aggressive right now, but if it's not, maybe maybe you can push it up to something else and then back down to what you had it on. But it might be because it's set to aggressive. This is a setting that you have to often turn off on JAWS too, because it starts switching voices when it really didn't detect a different language, but sometimes it'll just go into German or whatever. So, but I haven't had this with TalkBack before, but I know that some people have talked about changing your language detection settings.
Okay, I'll give that a try.
And another thing you might do is take the take the language changing or whatever it is out of your quick settings, out of when you swipe left and right with 3 fingers. Because sometimes for some reason it just accidentally gets changed, even if that's not the setting that it's set.
Okay.
Mr. Richard?
Go ahead, Mr. Richard.
I actually, Renee, have the same problem happening, and it's not with Pixel. Sometimes it will happen with my Android phone, and sometimes it even happened with Alexa. And all of a sudden, it changes just out of nowhere. It's a different voice, like you said. It's a British or an English, and I have to go in and reset it to the voice that I pick, and it's weird. I think sometimes it might have to do with sometimes updating when you get certain updates to certain apps for some reason. That kind of does something to other apps. It changes certain things. It says you might lose this or lose that, or it might change this and you have to go reset it. So it could be because of updating apps too. I don't really know why it happens, because it happens even to me, and I just go in and reset it.
Thank you, Mr. Richard. And yeah, so those are a couple separate issues in that space. But as you mentioned, going to the different apps, or the app might say, well, this thing is not supported anymore. So sometimes you will have those moments where one thing may break another as far as updates are concerned. But as far as for Miss Renee's question, I think uh, Kevin's right on on the fact of the aggressive versus, I forget what they use as terms. I'll look it up here in a second on my device. Maybe we could go through it and just to show you. But it's basically like similar going to your talkback settings and just going through there and looking around for that aggressive versus standard or whatever it is. So those are a couple different issues there, but I appreciate your input there. Thank you so much. So anybody else wants to carry on with another question? You go ahead, Miss Linda.
Just a quick note. Just know that you do not have to raise your hand. We just ask everybody to be courteous, wait till a lull in the conversation. Please announce your name and just wait to be recognized. Because I see Linda has raised her hand.
The floor's yours.
Hi, this is Linda Yax, and I'm an iPhone user and love it, but due to some circumstances in my life, I think I'm going to have to join my daughter's Google Play Google phone providers. And so what I'm wanting to know really is how does anybody have a particular phone brand that you recommend I try to get? Or, how's that going to work? Because what she told me was if they put me on her plan, she can get me a free phone. And I have an old iPhone. It's like a 10R. And so, it's due to be a mess here pretty soon anyway. So that's what I'm looking for is just some recommendations on how useful are the Android phones, and am I going to have a real problem, and can I download from Bard and that kind of stuff? So
Yeah. And Miss Linda, just ask a sidebar question. Are you low vision? Are you a low vision user
I'm
or
totally
totally blind?
blind.
Okay, totally blind. It makes differences. But I'm gonna open up the stage here to let the other folks here help us out with this. I know everybody has their choices, and we have a lot of devices on hand tonight, so you're lucky. And thank you for that question. It's definitely a good question to go back to, especially when you're trying to switch, or you're just you get a phone tossed at you. And it's great that you're going to ask this question about which phone specifically. You're not just going to let the carrier give you a phone and say, yes, ma'am, this is all going to be accessible. And then you come home miserable. So appreciate the question, and I'm open the stage to everybody else.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Foster.
Go ahead,
Yes,
Foster.
So, man, what do you know what options for Android phone you have through your daughter's provider?
I I I don't. What's happening is I'm in the process of moving into assisted living, and I cannot keep the expensive Verizon bill that I have now, and so that's why she wanted to put me on their Google plan. So I don't know, and I just thought this was an opportunity to kind of find out, get information, and then I will at least come armed when I go to the Google store or when I talk to, when I talk to them. So sorry, I don't really have a lot of information.
Okay, so is she using is she using Google Fi by any chance? Because that's the main one I can think of that's just Google.
Linda, what is your daughter's phone carrier?
Google.
Google? Okay.
Yeah, so if it's Google Fi, I think if I'm not mistaken, you have the option of bringing your own phone, or of course you can choose one of the Pixel models. Like a few of us on here have the excuse me, the Pixel 7 Pro. Right now they have the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro. The one thing you would have to get used to switching over to Android is you'll be using TalkBack, which kind of works similarly to VoiceOver. The gestures are a little different though.
Mm-hmm.
This is Kevin.
Go ahead, Kevin.
If you go, well, there's not really a physical store. I mean, unless you're in New York, but you have a choice of some Samsung devices, I think a couple of Motorola's and some Samsungs. But I would go for the Pixel 8 because they're running a good deal right now. I don't think you need the Pro, but I would go for the 8.
Okay.
The Pixel 8. But anything that they're selling right now would be good. It's a 7, 7A, 7 Pro, the regular 7, 6. Anything that they're pushing on the Google side, I would go for.
What kind of memories do those have?
So some of the A series, which is kind of like their mid-tier budget/budget level, some of them might still have 64 gigabytes. I'm not sure, but they usually start at 128, which is more than enough. So
Okay.
128. And then they have, if you needed it, you can get Google Drive space. So you get 15 gigabytes just for having a Gmail address. And then if you needed extra storage, like if you take a lot of photos or something and you wanted to keep them off of your device, then you can get like $5, $10 plans for cloud storage.
Okay, well, it's not so much photos as it is I do read a lot of Bard books.
Yes,
And
so
so,
Bard is available. Be My Eyes, Ira. Lookout is the equivalent of Seeing AI, or you can get Envision AI. So just about everything, Bookshare.
Okay, great.
Hey, Miss Linda, this is Hershey again. And for as far as that, the as Kevin has outlined with the 8 and 8 Pro, you might get the larger storage, possibly with the 8 Pro. That's the only. It's going to be about your budgeting at that point. And the 7A, last I was just browsing around maybe a couple of days ago, I saw it for like 350. So it just depends on where your budget is. But if you get a Pixel 7A or you get a Pixel 8 or 8A or 8 Pro, TalkBack's going to work the same. Nothing's going to change. The operating system's at Android 14 currently. So as far as that user experience, you could look at it as is your longevity. What do you want to spend on longevity? The Pixel 8 has a 7-year lifespan now of getting operating system updates and such. And whereas the 7A still, I think, is on the old method of updates. So the 7A is not going to be updated for as long as the device for the Pixel 8. So, some considerations to take. And since you are a screen reader user in that sense of being total, TalkBack works great with the device, and it comes from Google, right? So Google is the one who makes the device. So you're going to get all the new TalkBack features coming to you first, since it is coming through Google, and it's a Google Pixel phone. So as far as that shift over from VoiceOver to come to the Pixel side or what have you, you might find it a little bit more easier. And then if you're maybe a person that might use Siri a lot, you could use your assistant to just say, hey, blah, 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 send message. And it'll send that message, and you don't have to go finding around where's the send button. So those are just some aspects I've seen, and I consider myself that the Pixel 8 is pretty worth it. So.
Okay, great. Thank you so very much.
No,
That's a lot of help.
of course.
Mr. Richard.
Go ahead, Mr. Richard.
And when I don't have the Pixels, but I do have Android. I had Revel 4, and I had other Android phones, and I do have to say, I just started off with Android, so my own experience, like you're about to do, just for starting off with Android, I am now over a year with using Android, and I know other people are different. I know it works different with each other, but I really have to say within 4 to 5 months or just under, being on this meeting here with a lot of others with Android users, plus using Android and experimenting with it myself, within under 5 months, I was navigating it very quickly and very fast, because the way Android, I guess, is just set up and the way it works. With the Be My Eyes, you can talk to a live person, physical, through the phone, with the microphone and through the camera, or you can use the SuperSense, which it's not a live person, it's just the artificial intelligence, the Bookshare bar thing, all of that. So it's for just starting off on Android, being on this meeting and just navigating it and experimenting myself with under 4 months to 5, I was really good with it and fast with it.
Did you come from an iPhone to the Android?
No, I did start off with Android right off the back, and now recently I am with an iPad, so I am seeing the differences. I do see the difference of what's using and how it's using, and because there is meetings for Apple products with iBug. But
right.
Yes, I dare. Again, iBug meetings are just incredible. They can help in so many ways, Melinda, and then just depending on how much you're playing around with it and what you catch on to and your learning rate and how quick somebody catches on, it that does kind of make a difference. But there's a lot of help here with iBug, so
I'm encouraged because I thought getting my iPhone for years, and finally back in 2013, I did get one. And I, like you, it took, someone said to me, baby steps, learn how to make calls and then learn how to text. And so that's what I did. But I'm encouraged to hear that I have heard my daughter send text messages and so forth on hers without, with hands free and stuff. I've heard her make calls hands free. So I am encouraged. I do not know what kind of phone she actually has. I have not asked her, but this is great, and I'll probably subscribe to the iBug list so I can keep coming to these calls. So
Sure thing. And I was just about to say thank you,
This
Mr.
is
Richard,
Bill.
for your testimonial there. And go ahead. Somebody else wanted to say something?
Yeah, this is Bill.
Hey, Bill, go ahead.
I was going to say my first smartphone I ever had was a Motorola Droid, which is, of course, Android. And that's how I cut my teeth on a smartphone. And I actually got used to it really quick. And I was surprised. And the only reason that I actually switched to an iPhone is when I started working for the local agency up here for it's called Conklin Davis right now.
Mm-hmm.
And we have clients that come in with iPhones. So I had to switch to iPhone to get into it. But I honestly can say that if you're brand new to the smartphone, the Android is not that bad. And I got used to it quick and was able to scoot around the screen and everything else like that without any trouble. And I've had a few clients lately who have come in with Android phones, and we got them up and running pretty quickly. So, my opinion right now is the fact that Android's nothing to be afraid of. It's it's just you have to keep an open mind and work with it, and pretty soon, before you know it, you'll be a pro.
Thank you so
thank
much
you.
for that, Bill.
I'm a pretty good computer user, and I've taught myself a lot of what I know. So I'm not afraid. I just wanted opinions. So thank you all so very, very much.
Absolutely. And we were talking about that list thing, so that's all I was just trying to share with you guys is if you do want to send us a blank email to IBUG Android plus Android Insight, sorry, plus subscribe at groups.io, and we'll if you have questions between now and next month, this call is held on every third Wednesdays. Feel free to shoot us an email, and like I said, most of these folks like Mr. Foster and Ms. Renee and others are sometimes floating about on the list. So we're more than willing to help outside the days we're not here. That's a good way to get connected. And again, ibugtoday.com for the website. And then if you wanted to find us on, say, YouTube, just type in iBug Today, and then if you go to the channel, you'll find even a section that says playlists, and we have at least 30 Android Insight calls over the years that we've had this for about 3 years now. Blessing to the pandemic, I guess. But whatever you need, we're here for you in that sense. And if we could help in any other ways with any other one, if anyone else has more questions, even if it is as novice as how do you do this, how do you turn on a phone, it's okay on this call because we all have to learn from somewhere, right? So
Okay, thank you very much.
you're welcome. All right. Any other questions, concerns, thoughts?
Yeah, I do have a question. This is Bill. Switching gears a little bit, with the install that I did a few days ago for Android 14, I noticed that the feature that will listen to music around you and it would show up on the lock screen as to what was playing. For some reason on 14, that doesn't appear to show anymore, at least not that I can tell. I haven't had a chance to have anybody with vision to see if it's actually working, but I was wondering if anybody else has had the same issue and what possible workaround might be available, or if it's something that I have to go in and change in the settings again.
All right, thank you, Bill. Anybody able to help Mr. Bill here with his question?
This is Kevin.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I think you just have to go and check your lock screen settings. I don't have the now playing coming on my lock screen. I just have to go into the notification area. And if my phone is unlocked, it just kind of says it out loud. So it is working. I'm running the beta, been running the beta since March of 14. So I haven't noticed any problems, but I don't have it coming on my lock screen. So, but it might just be that the setting got changed when you installed Android 14. And if that's not the case, if it's still set like that on your lock screen when you go into your lock screen settings, then be sure and contact the Google support, the accessibility support, and let them know so they can create a ticket.
Yeah, that was going to be my next step. I just didn't know if, for any possible reason, that maybe I was missing something. I usually play with the settings as much as I can before I start going out to to Google or Apple for that matter for iOS questions. But that's I didn't know if anyone else had noticed the same issue.
This is Renee.
Ms. Renee.
Yeah, I just tried it. Mine still is on. It's on the lock screen. It's working.
Okay. Yep. I'll have to check my lock screen settings and see what I got. So appreciate it.
Sure, absolutely. All right. So, if we have bugs like this, who do we tell, right? So, another website here for you. It's a short one, I promise. g.co/disability solution support, excuse me, and you could connect to Google with any of your questions, or as we outlined here with getting a ticket opened. So you could reach them through phone by clicking on the phone selection. You could do the email thing, and then also if you have the app Be My Eyes, you could also connect with Be My Eyes if you're trying to show the support agent your thermostat or something like that. You have that support, and any kind of bugs or squirreliness like this, it's just worth filing it, because if there's only one or two people having it, it's not a bug. But if 10 people had it, it might be a bug. But any other questions, concerns, thoughts?
This is Bill again.
Go ahead, Bill.
We'll try something different here. I don't know if anybody's heard or not, but Amazon is getting ready to apparently change its operating system for a lot of their devices to their own build, for which I think it's called Vega, I think is what I heard. And now I don't know if it's going to be available for all existing devices or if it's going to be on their upcoming devices. I was wondering if anyone knows anything about that and what we can expect. Right. I think it was just announced maybe 2 weeks ago that I noticed it, but I didn't know if anyone knew anything more about it than what I know.
Yes, Bill, this is Hershey. That is, I think the name, as you said, Vega. And I pondered. I'm still pondering, so I don't really have an answer on this because, okay, first you take Ivona away from us with the better TTS engine, and then okay, now you want to take. So what do we have? Android and Vega Insight or whatever. What's with all the splitting things apart so much? What is it called? Fragmentation. But it looks like an interesting move for their sakes for what they have going, I guess. But um, it's this whole thing between certain companies, even with braille displays and what have you, and other things. As I've heard, they won't update it from like Android 9. So when it
Right.
comes to like these devices, when we have spent good money and okay, it doesn't mix with this, but it mixes with that, and then I think what opened up this kind of thing to everything. It's not thing. It's called Matter, right? The Matter support or what that was, whatever they worked together with that. And I think that's where they started seeing a business move where it's like, hey, why don't we do it this way? And Apple's doing it their way. Why don't we do it our way? And we're just going to have to see how accessibility gets impacted on this whole measure of change. Because as having a Fire tablet, as I know, they have Braille support, and they had it working and moving along, I think, quicker than Pixel adopted it even. So, we haven't have to wait and see, I suppose. But if anybody else has some insight, please do share.
This is
I mean,
Kevin.
Kevin, go ahead, and I heard someone else after that.
So right now it's supposed to be working on the kids edition of the Echo Show 5. So I don't know if anybody has one of those to let us know if the accessibility is impacted. I think it's just supposed to be for the smart displays, the way that Google was wanting to move to Fuchsia, because it's less resource intensive. So I guess it's supposed to make um, the screens or whatever, make it more fluid. But I don't know how they accept. But I don't think that's the direction that they're going to go with the tablets, because they
Kevin,
they don't have to
I need to
build the
throw a monkey
operating
wrench in your
system.
in your plan there. Fuchsia's dead now too.
Huh?
Fuchsia's killed too. I think they shut
Yeah,
down
that's what I'm
Fuchsia.
saying. But that's why they wanted to
So,
move to Fuchsia for the speakers,
yeah, yeah.
so that they wouldn't. So because it's less intensive than Android. So yeah, but um, the accessibility was supposed to be there for Fuchsia. So, but I don't know about the tablet part. But I know that they're slowly pushing it to the screen, to their other items that have screens.
well, what I was concerned about, this is Bill, what I was concerned about, I mean, I have an older model tablet that I don't particularly care about right now, but I have a television here, the Fire TV, and, I'm wondering if it will be included in any of those updates or if it can be, because of processors or whatever. I was never, too clear on that. And then, of course, those of us that have the Lady A devices, if that would also be impacted. It's really wasn't clear to me, at least so far with the research that I've done. So, it was hard to tell what devices were going to be included and which ones would be set aside. But I didn't know too much about it, and that's why I put the question out there.
Good question. Good question. Well, I guess you've stumped us after that point. So if anybody else has more,
I
if you have
didn't
more
mean to
questions,
do that.
if you have more
But you
questions,
know
feel
me
free.
better. You know me better. So
Well, I mean, I just see all these interesting moves that all the companies are making, and it's like we're in the middle with this accessibility fight, and yeah, that's all we care about, I guess, and that's our best interest, I suppose. But uh, one can only hope, and
yeah.
our input is always valuable. So don't forget to always share your if you dislike it, then email them and say, hey, this is not cool. I don't like this, and this is how I would improve it. you never know what you'll get. So, but yeah, if anybody else has more questions, thoughts, please feel free to speak.
This is Renee.
Go ahead, Miss Renee.
When I upgraded to the latest operating system a few days ago, I thought I had read in an article that one of the things that was going to change was that when you had to put in your password because your screen was locked, that you would no longer have to push that little arrow or whatever it is to enter button. But that's not what's happening with mine. I was just wondering if anybody was aware if that really did happen with this upgrade, or is that something that's still pending?
Yeah, I remember reading. This is Bill. I remember reading something about that, but I never did figure out how it was supposed to work. Because the pixels, they have the two ways of entering in, either with your fingerprint or with facial recognition. And of course, also, if you have to, you can put in your PIN number. But after that, I wasn't able to find out anything else about that particular feature, but I did hear about it. So I don't know if it's something that's coming in a update later or what.
It was supposed to be with the PIN number because it's annoying to put in your PIN number and then have to push enter.
Right.
Instead of it just put in the PIN number and it unlocks.
Letting it go, yeah.
And it was supposed to just unlock, but I was just wondering if there was some setting I had to change or something for that to take effect, or maybe it just hasn't happened with this latest upgrade. I know it was in an article I read, but maybe it just didn't happen yet.
Yeah, this is Foster.
Go ahead, Foster.
Yeah, you have to go into the settings and choose that as an option.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
that
when
would
I
be in
did it,
security.
huh?
That would be in the security settings.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, like I said, I have a OnePlus phone, and the OnePlus they have a overlay over Android called Oxygen, and Oxygen already has that where you just punch in your PIN and it opens up. So what Google did on this iteration is they made it so that you have the option to either still do the enter, push the enter button, or um, have it open up right after you press the last digit of your PIN code. But you have to change it in your security settings.
Okay, thank you.
Question? There's not.
So this is Foster. I actually had a question for Kevin. So what's new or different about the Pixel tablet?
All right, that's for you, Kevin. What's new and good with the Pixel? What is it called? A tablet?
So I was on a completely different screen. Um, I'm just getting used to it. I just got it on Friday. Some of the layout for it's tablet layout, so that a lot of the TV shows, like streaming sources are right there on the screen as far as like shows, kind of like a little bit like the Chrome home screen, Chrome not the operating system, but the Chromecast, and also like the Fire TV home screen. So there's shows and stuff on there. That's the biggest difference. I like that, unlike the Samsung devices that we have at work on the tab, and when it's in tablet mode, so since it does this kind of like split screen thing all the time, not really split screen, but it tells you where items are. So when you open up something, because the screen is so big, especially if you're in landscape mode, it'll say settings on the right, apps on the left, or whatever. It tells you where the things are on the screen, because we were having a problem work with Samsung because we were always hunting for what, because you would be going through sound settings, and the next thing you know, you're in the middle of security settings or something like that. So there's just some of the differences that I've noticed so far. And the dock sounds pretty nice that you can hook it up to.
The dock came with it, right?
Yeah, the dock comes with it.
Okay. So is it still $4.99 or did the price go down?
So I'm a Google trusted tester. So this was my free device. I had a choice between this and some other items, and I almost got the Fold, which I couldn't believe that was one of the free items I could have chose from, but I chose to get the tablet. So, but yeah, it's $4.99, but the sale starts tomorrow, and it's gonna be down to either $3.99 or $3.50 in the Google store. So I don't know how many other companies are going to match that price, but I think it's $100 off or $150 off for early Black Friday. But it's very light and it's very easy to carry and hold in your hands, and speakers sound good, and it's very responsive.
You're not helping me save my money, Kevin.
You know, between him and Foster, I don't know which one of them like my checkbook the most.
Yeah.
So another question on that: can you, like with Samsung, can you control your phone from the tablet?
I'm thinking that you can. It doesn't have like the Smart Things hub, but yeah, I know that I can control it. So it has the virtual remote installed already. So I know I can control my TV. And of course, I can control other smart devices through the home app or whatever. But I haven't tried to. Now, it does have, so I do have my message sync, so I can, return the text. I can respond to text messages, read text messages, and stuff like that. But that was always. But the messages for web has been greatly improved, so now it looks more like a regular interface on your phone.
Hey, Kevin.
So that makes it really easy when you're on the phone call or something, because sometimes you can't hear, what's going on in the messages over the people that you're talking to or whatever. So it's really convenient, and especially if you hook up a keyboard or something, so you can be, responding to text messages and stuff like that.
Kevin, I was going to ask you, does it have infrared on that? For, like you said, the remote control aspect?
I don't.
Or is it just Bluetooth, I guess?
I know it's Bluetooth, but I don't know about the infrared.
No, that one doesn't have infrared, but the OnePlus Tab has infrared, and so you can use it kind of like the old Samsung tablets that had the infrared. You could use it as like a universal remote.
Yes,
so they have that on
most definitely.
Yeah, which I love.
Man,
actually, that was my
down
first
memory
tablet.
lane, man. The old why?
Hey, the Galaxy S Tab, the very first one.
You take away stuff and you give me headphones. Okay, I get it, Apple, but come on, Samsung, come on, man. Infrared. You had all these apps galore, and then all these blind apps got bought out, and then they got shut down, man. Anyway, it's Thanksgiving month, by the way, so thanks to everybody for this month as it is, and always keeping us going. Like, we always get so much insight, so much intrigue, and always appreciate you guys. So thank you for that. And with that, more questions, more talk.
Yeah, I have a question for everybody, because I know here in Houston, Haven did a call on AI. Well, I went and looked up. I know Google Bard is Google's AI. So has anybody used it or tried any of the AIs with the Androids phone, whether it's the Google or the GPT chat?
Is there an app for the phone?
Yeah, these are apps for your phone.
Okay.
Bard.google.com.
Well, I know with Let's false. I know with the Pixel, like with the Pixel 7, well, the Pixel phones, like so a lot of the AI is they're integrating it through the like through the operating system and stuff. So um, one of the things that I like on the 7, and Kevin had told me about the feature, but I use it a whole lot, is the where you can screen a call before you actually pick it up. And it's funny because these the solicitors, when they're soliciting for stuff, a lot of them are using AI those AI voices. And so the screen, when I screen a call, it'll say, "Hi, I'm an automated voice." And so I go ahead and then it'll pop up. It'll give a pop up to report as spam. So I'll click on that, report it as spam, and then the call will hang up. So they've kind of integrated some of the AI stuff into their phones, and actually the Pixels have more AI than Apple or any other Android phone out there.
So this is Kevin. I've been using Bard. So the updated version of Lookout has the images mode has AI built into it, and so you can ask questions, and so I guess that's powered by Bard. So sometimes I compare what I get from Lookout on an image versus what I get from Bard on an image. But I have added it to my home screen. I wasn't using it a lot at first, but now, so I've used it to create like short stories, so I can show students how to like edit documents, proofread and stuff like that. I've used it to create a syllabus, a course syllabus.
Excuse me.
I use it to write like committee descriptions for our board. I use it to write all kinds of stuff. So I told it to create me a document that needs to be spell checked, for a spell check and assignment. And it created a document with misspelled words, and it told me what the words to look for and everything. Created a key, like basically to. I've asked it what color shirts are, or what's the text on the shirt, things like that.
This is Renee. Is that a Bard app or is that the Lookout app you're using for
So
that?
when it comes to images, I use Lookout and
Yeah.
Bard. I use Lookout more, but I compare them to see, if Bard is more advanced or what might be coming to Lookout.
Is there a Bard app for your phone?
It's just a website.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
just a website. So it's just bard.google.com, and then you
Right.
just add it. When you bookmark it, you just say add to home screen, and you can move it around where you want it.
Because I've used Bard on my PC, but I've never used it on my phone.
Yeah, and I use it on both. I go back and forth.
And I've used it to do all the stuff that like a travel agent would do when we were traveling. I used it to plot out our trip across country from Ohio to San Diego, where we were stopping, how many miles it would be, how long it would take, suggested, places to stay. It did all that pretty good. I mean, and I've used it to get me started writing like some letters and things like that, or just right. But if you feed it a lot of information, it'll do a decent job. But it does make a lot of there are some assumptions it makes that are not good yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But also, it's great for getting recipes. When you want to use, when you want to use specific things and not certain things, every once in a while it gets it wrong because I don't eat soy, and I'll say make such and such and such and such a vegan dish, no soy, and every once in a while I'll put something in there like tofu. I'm like, that's soy, but I like it. I might have to put it on my phone so I can use it on my phone more.
Yeah, this is Foster.
Go ahead, Foster.
What's crazy about this AI stuff is, um, and this is going to tell you about how old I am. When I started college in '85, and I took a computer class, they were already talking about artificial intelligence. So look where we are now.
Foster, I graduated from college before you started.
But I'm just saying that back in 1985, they were already talking about artificial intelligence. So
Yeah.
it's now now we actually see it. Um, we actually see it, coming to fruition now. So yeah, and unfortunately, it's going to as it as they perfect it, it's going to take away a lot of jobs.
Oof.
I just worry about where they get the information that helps it make decisions.
Mm.
Because if the information that is put into it that it uses to help it make decisions doesn't include a cross section of everybody, then it's going to make decisions skewed,
Mm-hmm.
um, with a skewed perception, like whether or not to hit a dog or a person in a wheelchair when you have an
Mm-hmm.
autonomous vehicle.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing because um, one of the main things for AI is the internet. And what was the one that what does IBM call their
Watson.
AI? Watson. So Watson, for example, I mean, the thing was so good they had it as a competitor on Jeopardy.
Jeopardy.
Right. Yeah.
That's exactly the first thing I thought of. Yes.
Yep.
And the thing of it is it can access information from the internet, like,
Right.
in what nanoseconds, and pull this information quickly. So, and a lot of the AI is that's what it's doing, is pulling from the internet, but then the response, the way it responds is becoming, the goal is to make it more human like as possible,
I
and we can
guess
already see that. You know.
I guess a disclaimer to put in is what is it? AI drink responsibly. It's kind of like a drink
Yeah.
responsibly label for it because
Mm-hmm.
you got to use AI responsibly because what you're feeding it, it's that's why I didn't use it for a write up that I did recently. I could have, but it's like it's me, it's my information. Why am I feeding it my information? For the examples of misspelled words and such, those are wonderful examples right there to get be efficient and get your work done, and you have other things to do and more time to spend with other things. So efficiency wise, definitely dope, but I don't know. Got all of them out there.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the
But
things they talk about where, you know, okay, in school they tell you to write a paper. So then how do you know the person, did they really write this paper, or did they use, Bard or Chat GPT, did they use one of those to write the paper? So really,
But let's put it this way. Let's take another Android against Android, right? Because it's Android call. But you get another robot fighting another robot. You have one that's going to scan for fake stuff. So it's like you're not going to win, man. I mean, they're just two robots working it. Transformers, I mean, whatever you want to call it. But
And then the
two
robot
rock'em
mafia will
sock'em
pay.
robots.
The robot mafia will
Renee,
pay each other off.
right.
Renee,
Yes.
two rock'em sock'em robots.
Yeah, I used to love those things.
I thought of the bot wars that they have. I thought of that, the bot wars.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
I thought of
yep.
that show they had.
That's an interesting point there, Miss Richard. But like, think about it. Kids are learning off of devices that they could program with, right? But what is the main platform? It's Android. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of Chatterbox, Hello Chatterbox. They have a product, and it, there's various products out there. I just heard something on Facebook. Somebody posted a link where it helps kids learn and code, and So there's so many products out there nowadays where it's all about this coding language or coding world, so to speak, and our brain's just like, wait, what? Where's the imagination in this, right? So again, Roblox was there. It's good. It works, but is it always a great thing for kids? It is. So again, live responsibly because we have a lot of things around us that will, are like desires that we want. So
This is
appreciate.
Bill.
Go ahead.
I would have a little issue with AI, and I do. I mean, it's great for us that can't see, visually impaired, disabilities. I grant it's awesome, but I have a little issue with an AI saying that, well, the computer can learn on its own. It's like Renee said, and I think I get where she was going. It's like, well, the robot knows it can do it, but should it do it? The intuition of a human of like, well, I can do this, but should I? Is it really right to wrong? And the emotion behind it is gone. We all know robots don't feel emotion or have emotion. Look at Data. He doesn't have emotions. He doesn't know emotions. That's the problem with androids. Robots, there's no feeling. So
Yeah, but I will say that, when you look at data, people use data wrong as well. I mean, with their own skewed perceptions, when they look at data for a lot of things, deciding whether or not a certain area should get higher insurance than another, or whether a football player should be covered at the same rate as another player, if they have head injuries. I mean, they've used data wrong, with skewed perceptions many, many times. And those same people, maybe those same decisions are what are going to feed, artificial intelligence, unfortunately, unless somebody puts some corrections in there. So people will be wrong just as well because and the equipment, the programs are going to be programmed by people who are flawed as well. So I guess we can't expect perfection out of it because the people that designed it are not perfect.
This is Bill.
correct. The issue with that, though, is when you have a psychotic robot going on out there, how do you stop that now? Because it's not going to be easy to stop that. We all learned that from Terminator. It's not going to be easy to stop this robot with.
Pull the plug.
All I could say is art depicts the future, but go ahead, Mr. Bill. You had an input?
Well, I was going to say the prime example of what can go wrong with what I consider to be artificial intelligence is when Tesla was testing out these vehicles that would drive on their own. Everything was computerized, everything was, going through the internet and everything else like that. But how many times do we hear of, accidents where a car would drive underneath a trailer at an intersection because, the driver or well, I guess you would call him a driver, wasn't paying attention like they were supposed to. And
Yes.
the vehicle went under the trailer, where if it was perfect, it wouldn't do that. So when I first heard about artificial intelligence, I was taking some computer courses back in the early 90s, and one of our instructors had brought up the subject of artificial intelligence. He said the biggest problem is you can't program what should happen if another person was to do something and it wasn't programmed into the into the program, and you're going to have problems. And like I said, the prime example was all these accidents we heard about with the Tesla and the driverless cars, or whatever you want to call them. It's a great idea. I mean, I've had discussions with a lot of my colleagues and everything about this, and everybody's, oh great, yeah, we can get in our cars and go play. And I was like, well, Yeah, if it was perfect, but it's not, because if you can't see what's happening in front of you that you can avoid, that the machine is not going to avoid for you, you're in trouble. So, it does have a tendency to go awry. But I think, since we've started hearing about this, a lot of great strides have been made, and usually for the good of people. I mean, recent example I had was using Be My Eyes and using the AI feature on it, so I could read uh, a certain thing that was appearing on a panel of an appliance of mine, and it took me a couple of times to get it to work, but it actually told me what was going on, for which I was grateful for. So, it does have a lot of good uses. And I think, at some point, a line is going to have to be drawn where you could say, okay, yeah, this is great use, this is great use. And then the other side would be, no, we probably shouldn't use it for that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's all brand new, and is going to be a huge uh, learning curve to get things the way it should be. But again, as I say, they have made great strides, and I think it's something that, my opinion is it should be embraced, but in the same time, you still have to be careful of it.
Well, this is Renee. I look forward to the things it can do regarding accessibility. When I think of all of the things that we have to interface with, that to me is like an optimal time to use artificial intelligence to look at the way somebody has coded something or set up the interface on a television or a website, that it could probably plow through some of those things for you and get you to things a little bit easier. I mean, just like voice control can get you somewhere faster. I think, that artificial intelligence can probably correct some of the things, make the interfaces easier for us, for some people that just don't program things with accessibility in mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that I hope to see come out of it.
The one thing that surprises me is that, we see a lot of this on the Android platform, but I haven't heard much of it being said about it on the iOS platform or Mac OS platforms. Um, but you know as well as I do that a lot of times Apple has a tendency to keep things very secret. I'm just waiting for the time when they come out with something that's, everybody's going to go, "Whoa, what happened here?" That's what I'm waiting for, where it's accessible to everybody, not just in terms of accessibility for us, but for everybody. And that's,
One-stop shop for accessibility, right?
exactly. Yes,
This is
exactly.
Kevin.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Actually, one of the first demonstrations that I saw of the AI tool is someone using an iPhone and using Bing. I think this is going to be kind of like the seeing AI thing, where Apple just lets, so they don't have to be responsible. They just, since Bing runs on the iPhone and you can just use it, and then they have Be My Eyes, like, why do they even have to enter into the,
Which we're still waiting on the app. I mean, I hear it's out there somewhere,
yeah,
but
but
who knows?
they have a demo of it on the whatchamacallit, but on the online Android users. But yeah, the first one I ever saw was someone using Bing, the Chat GPT or whatever they call it, on an iPhone. So it might not be an area that Apple even goes into, because it already works on their phone and they don't have to be responsible for what people do with it, because
Makes you wonder if
Microsoft
Google
made it.
Glass is even worth it on top of it, right? A new version, because I mean, you got the Vision Pro coming out next year. So is it worth
Yeah, it's
another device? Because
possible.
Envision Glasses, it's using AI in there. It's through the Envision app, but it's using back end of ChatGPT and all of these other models. But Man, this is tiring. Too many eyes tonight, guys. But let me wrap around back to the question we had earlier for Miss Renee had it, and Miss Renee, if you want to, you're saying that the voices change languages, right? In short,
Yes.
so I'm gonna try. It's under the text to speech, and it's under text to speech settings. But I'm gonna hook up my phone here real quick, and let's see.
Lock screen. Home.
All right, we could hear
Google
that. I
search.
think. All right.
Accessibility volume set to 100%.
Yeah.
Talk back menu.
Is that
Page navigation.
is that? Can you guys hear that properly?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Cool.
Read from next item.
The
So,
text to speech, that's an accessibility.
let me.
Talkback settings.
You could go to talkback settings or
text
to speech settings, but
Okay.
I put it down there from the settings and talkback
Okay.
settings. But I went there first.
Amplify speech volume. Make spoken text loud.
Okay, so I'll go back to the top.
Google TTS options.
I have Google TTS is what I chose, and then
Button. Navigate up.
Here, let me navigate up and make sure I went back.
Text to speech. Button. Preferred engine. Speech recognition and synthesis from Google.
Okay, so that's my preferred language. I'm going to swipe right once.
Button. Settings.
That's settings. I'm going to double tap. Here,
Google
I'll turn on sound.
Menu. Sound feedback off.
Sound feedback off. Sorry about that.
Google TTS options.
So then you have Google TTS options.
Button. Navigate up. Install voice data. 1 of 7. Use Wi-Fi only. Download voice. Amplify speech volume. Make spoke. Language detection. Conservative. 4 of 7.
That's where it said conservative. And you double tap that.
Pop-up window.
Undo.
Conservative. Checked. Aggressive.
And then there's aggressive. So you may have had aggressive. So if you go under again, just to recap here, you would go to your text-to-speech settings. It's also, you could get there from talkback settings as well.
Right.
So I'll close the screen, just go there real quick for the audience here.
Talkback settings.
So that's talkback settings. I'm going to double tap there.
Talkback settings.
And then I'm going to swipe right.
Talkback settings. New features in Talkback. 1 of audio, heading, text-to-speech settings.
Text-to-speech settings. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to double tap.
Text-to-speech. Button. Navigate up. Out of list.
I am on the top. I'm going to swipe right.
Preferred engine, speech recognition and synthesis from Google.
That's what I have selected as my engine. I know that.
Button, settings.
I swipe right once more, and I got the settings. I'm going to double tap.
Google TTS options.
Now I'm in the Google TTS's option. If you're using Vocalizer, it's going to have it in its options in the Vocalizer app, not in the settings. So it may vary in that what text-to-speech engine you're using.
Install voice data.
Install voice data.
7 items. Use Wi-Fi only. Amplify speech volume. Make spoken text louder than normal so it's easier to hear over other audio that might be playing. Switch off. 3 of 7.
Let's turn that on. There we go. A little bit louder.
Language detection. Conservative. 4 of 7. Showing anonymous usage reports. Language detection.
It's a language detection.
4 of 7.
And you, like I said, you could have it.
Mine is set to conservative.
G.co/disability support.
Of course.
I tried, Ms. Renee. And as far as that lock screen idea that you're talking about earlier in the call, just to give a little recap to our audience here, that might have been a little late, but well, you could always find us on YouTube. So YouTube, just go ahead and type in iBug today, and then you'll find us with our playlist. But the lock screen thing, I tried the pin on my Pixel, and it wants me to push the button, and I'm like, I went to the settings, went to security. I just from listening to you guys, I didn't want to have all my attention on the phone, but I still couldn't find under security and privacy. So 50-50 chance it's there. Hopefully it's there.
It might be something that they're going to pop in later. That's
Pixel drop in December or something. Exactly.
Yeah.
Any more questions, thoughts? Hopefully you guys were able to hear that decently enough, and if you want to ask about it, then feel free.
This is Richard.
Was that Richard that I heard, maybe?
Yep. Yes, it's. I don't know if anybody has had this happen. I've had it happen randomly, off and on, and here and there, and I just don't know what it means or what is happening. On my TVs, I have the Fire TVs, and it's in my bedroom and it's in my living room. And on occasion, out of nowhere, the TVs are off. Nobody is messing with them or doing anything. The TV is off, and I hear that tone. I hear that high-rise boom, boom, and then I hear it talking, saying voice view ready. And then it says screen off, and it stops talking. But nobody touched anything. Nobody gave it a command. Nobody gave it an order. And it happens just random out of nowhere.
I think I know what that might be. This is Bill.
Bill?
Occasionally it does updates. And if it's in the middle of the night, that's usually when they take place. And I think what happens is after the updates and everything installs, it restarts the unit. And then it, because I have the same problem. And it'll restart the unit. It'll go to the home screen real quick, and then it shuts right. The screen will turn off immediately. And I have noticed that I come in the next morning to use it, and it does. There's been maybe a couple little changes here and there. So I believe it has to do with either app updates or system updates.
And I was going to say that too. It's mostly half the time through the night. It's not really during the day. There is times it does happen during the day, but that's very, very so often. More so, it happens through the night. And I'm like, yeah, thank you, TV, for waking me up for no reason.
Yeah.
Mr. Richard, this is Hershey. What I would suggest maybe for the next episode, maybe you could give it a shot. Go to your updates, right? I'm thinking of a Fire Stick, so I'm guessing it's similar setting menus.
It is.
So go ahead and go to the update area and manually update everything in there. And then give it a week or give it whatever and just kind of see what's going on. Like, make sure you're doing updates manually every day. Give it by just checking, and just to know is if not, I mean, you have somebody with extra. I guess that's why they took off the RF sensors on the phone, right? People would just turn off people's TVs with Foster's OnePlus tablet. You know what I mean? No bad manners. Anyway, sorry, but yeah, it could be a couple different things, and I would just say give it a shot because you're in control by you working with the updates, or if there's a way to like not do updates automatically, turn that off and manually do it.
Yeah, this is
Go ahead, Foster.
Go ahead, Richard, and then I'll go.
No, because I was going to say that, when it goes to the updates, that's when it signs me out of the apps automatically. Then I got to go through all of those app sign-ins all over again, and I was wondering if I can get rid of that because every time it updates, I'm now out of all these apps.
Yeah, this is Foster.
No, sorry. Go ahead, Foster.
When so far as the PIN code thing, you have to go to security, screen lock, and then there's a switch for auto confirm unlock.
Yep, I just found it.
Yeah, so if you do the auto confirm unlock, you select that, then you don't have to press the enter button.
Oh, okay.
But your PIN has to be 6 characters or more.
Right. Yeah, at least 6 characters or more. Right.
Okay, so interesting. If it's not 6, you're not going to see it.
I don't think it'll work. It says in there.
No.
It probably won't let you select it because you have to put your PIN in to confirm it.
Gotcha.
Right. And I think the PIN has to be at least 6 digits anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So then it says unlock automatically if you input a correct PIN of 6 digits or more. This is slightly less secure than tapping enter to confirm. I guess.
There's a caveat to everything.
Convenience or security? Maybe.
I figure if as fast as we type stuff, being visually impaired, that's one less key is more secure to me.
I mean, I just take it as that's a fair point of just wanting equal opportunity with it, right? Oh man, equal opportunity. Why did I say it like that? But to be equal with what sighted folks just punch in a pin in, and barely slide their finger over maybe the enter button, right? And it's not much of a motion for them.
Right.
And for us, it's like, wait, where did that darn button go? Oh man, that's 0, man. Man, that's the 9. It's like,
Is it more secure than my password being said out loud?
Oh, right, exactly. Yeah.
By the
I'm
time
sorry,
you
but
get
that's not your voice. What?
Yeah, so here's another thing too. You know, a lot of the phones will do face unlock, and I've been reading some stuff about security and whatnot, and I stopped using face unlock. I just rather use the biometric with my with my
Pixel has
finger.
its own too, man. It's called a Pixel 4 XL. It used to have a Soli sensor. Rest in peace, dog. Okay. It had an awesome sensor. I mean, if they brought that back,
Yep.
and it was on a tablet, right? With all these tablets, all these things, if they could make those gestures usable for us, game over.
Mm-hmm.
Move your hands, do this, and it works. Sure. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the possibilities are there, but it's just always we get 2 steps forward and then we get like 20 steps backwards, and then it's like somebody takes a big jump and then they forgot how many steps it was. So it's always reinventing the wheel, so to speak.
with 6 digits, wouldn't it be easier just to use 6 fingers? By the time you get done with all these codes and all these passwords, I got to try to figure out how to read my ID myself because I don't know who I am by the time I'm done.
Hey man, we could be slick when blind people use Braille displays and Braille keyboards. 6 digits. I mean, come on, we could be slick with it.
Yeah. Well, a good thing about Android, as far as Bluetooth is concerned, Android is more stable using external Bluetooth devices like keyboards and headsets more than Apple, because a lot of times Apple's certain products that are even Bluetooth, they just will not work correctly. But with Android, any Bluetooth device that I have, I've had no problem connecting it, using it. It's Android's just fluid, because a lot of times I'll use a keyboard even with my phone, just so I have more screen real estate, so I can type stuff up, write notes and whatnot, and then even from time to time I might even use a mouse instead of using a touch screen to use the pointer function and move around as well.
Man, accessibility has come a long way. Thank you for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
So we got about 8 more minutes or so. Any more thoughts, concerns? Anything?
Yeah. Well, this question is for everybody. Has anybody tried to use any of the fold devices with TalkBack?
I don't have a fold. I don't need another bill. The only reason I would want to fold is the size, because these phones, man, they're getting wider and wider, and your hands get numb after a while. Man, you're watching some or TalkBack, you're trying to swipe with one hand, and yeah, I have not heard any negative in the sense of it doesn't work or it's terrible. So I think it's not bad for what it's worth.
This is Kevin.
Go ahead, Kevin.
I've used the Galaxy Fold 5, I believe it is. One of my students had it. I didn't get a whole lot of experience with it, but I know that it makes a decision, and I don't know if it has to do with the way you hold the phone, but it makes a decision about what things are on what side of the screen or which screen. So it's like you might have your dot or your favorites down on the bottom, but those favorites didn't seem to be on both screens. But as far as just being able to swipe through the screen and open the app drawer and notifications and all that. It worked just fine. Talkback read everything, but it was just trying to figure out what is where. How does it place? Where does it place different items that we're used to being on just one screen?
True. Hey, a quick question for you, Kevin. Google I/O is when they showed off the Fold, right? Or was it
Yeah, this was I'm sorry, did I say Pixel? This was the Galaxy S. This is the Galaxy Fold 5. I haven't seen the Pixel Fold.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, they showed it. I think
That's
they
because
debuted it
there's
at,
we're I guess then waiting on another Pixel Fold, right? Like the next
yeah,
generation.
at Google I/O,
Yeah.
maybe. Unless they wait
March-ish.
until the 9. It'll be May.
Because in
Yeah.
August is when
I mean,
Samsung pops off there. I mean, the Note 9 is, or my Note 9 was
yeah.
my last pen. It's become now a whatchamacallit, S22 Ultra for me, but S23 Ultra, anything with Ultra has a pen in it. I'm not sure if the next generations might maybe put the S Pen in it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the S20. I was looking at some possible renditions of the the 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it had a second display on the back of the phone. Like a small readout with the clock and alerts on the back of the phone next to the camera, and it did include the S Pen, on the Ultra models. I was like, wow, that's pretty slick right there.
More money, man. More money, more
More money, more money, more money, more money. Yeah. But the Pixel, to my understanding, I think somebody was saying when they came up with the Fold was at this time that the 6 was out. So that's why the cameras are more closer to the 6. They're not the same as like the 7. When it was first released, the camera's not the same as that of the 7 or the 7 Pro. So maybe on their next iteration, maybe they'll put the same camera system as the latest model, because for $1,800, I want the best camera.
Yeah.
what we need to do for accessibility. Accessibility. That's it. Let's keep saying that. But yeah, if anybody else has any last minute thoughts, concerns, any quick questions, or want me to repeat anything, please feel free to ask away. All right. Well, Ava, it's great to have you back and to hear your voice again. And we missed you there a couple months. We didn't have you on. Hope you on your mend. And we got to play with some of them the tablets, and we got maybe some videos to make. Maybe do something with them. Maybe AI will make you. I mean, you'll love to go re-listen to it because I saw you kind of fell off there, but it's gonna be some fun re-listening because there's a lot of interesting kind of chunking in there. So let's hope for the best, and thank you everybody for taking your time out and joining us tonight.
And just remember, Friday night's movie is Pride and Prejudice, 1940. At 8 p.m. They, come in at 7:30. They do have a good time, and they do have fun. And just want to make sure I wish everybody a happy holidays and a happy Thanksgiving next week. So I hope y'all enjoy your turkey time and get out there and enjoy Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Shopping wallets empty. Yes.
Ooh.
And I don't think anybody is going to throw you out of Texas, Ava, for no snow. So, and I'm going to try to make this real quick for you, Ava. Last year, like I said, how weird it was. I'll try to make this quick. December, January, February, March. Well, I said it was weird. December, a week, we were in the 70s. January, at the beginning, we got up into the middle of the 70s. At the end, we went into the 80s. Then February, we got into the mid 80s a week. and then come March, at the beginning, we got back into the mid 80s, close to 90 at the end. So, and very, very little snow. We had a weird winter here in New York that last year, so it's going to be very interesting to see what happens this winter.
Yes, it will. And just to throw this out there, y'all remember our next meeting is December 20th, the third Wednesday. So.
And I'll let you know if we got snow.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if we hit 70 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
Telling you, it's all about the Android robots. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for coming.
All right. Well, y'all.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Have a great Thanksgiving holidays, everyone.